welcome to Real Reds Talk. Today we're here to talk about which player we would take from Ajax when Erik Hag inevitably becomes manager of Manchester United. Today we've got three lovely lads joining us. Nicholas, how are you, mate?
Not bad, Sam. How are you?
I might have COVID, so I don't feel great right now, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. Bit of both. Bit of both, bit of positive, a bit of shit.
Yeah, bit of them. Civir, how are you, mate? It's good to see you again.
Yeah, I'm good. I'd just like to start the whole segment by saying that here at Real Reds Talk, we are all experts on Ajax. We've been watching them for years. We know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. I've been watching Ten Hag since what's that? Go ahead Eagles when he was managing there. We've been watching since then.
Yeah.
Civir, you're wearing a hat. Unusual, mate.
Shreyas.
Shit. That's staying in. That's got to stay in now, isn't it?
Yeah.
2 minutes.
I'm unwell, mate. Give me a rest. Yeah. I'm not well.
Let him off the hook.
Yeah, the most unprofessional professional.
Shreyas, your name is Shreyas, right? That's your name, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, cool. Yeah. You're wearing a hat. Unusual.
Yeah. I mean, I was just sitting here and it suddenly fell on my head, so I just went about with it.
Nice.
Can you describe to the viewers just very quickly where you got your hat? I think it's a bit of an interesting story.
It's a good story.
Yeah, I was actually at a WWE live event when I was a kid, and at that event, John Cena was there, and when he was walking off the ramp, I was actually just in those areas where you could access the fans, the superstars could access the fans, and he gave me his armband and his hat as well. So that's how I got this hat. When he
must have just been like a floating cap, and you must have just kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a pink hat going up the aisleway, wasn't it? That was it.
It was like, fucking give me this.
That.
The greatest catch of all time.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's the one.
There you go. Before we get into the sort of meat of the show, we're going to just cover a couple of topical items because there was a few interesting tidbits. Some of it might be a bit bullshit, other of it might be a bit more sort of in reality. First one I wanted to cover was Frankie de Jong. It was trending all over Twitter, I think this afternoon. Apparently, according to the Manchester Evening News, which take that for a grain of salt for what it's worth, United are to swap Alex Telles and Marcus Rashford in a sweep for Barcelona's Frankie de Jong. They're being linked with a move, and for Shreyas, I don't even know what that is. Shreyas suggests a swap deal could be on the cards. They claim Erik Ten Hag's now side have made de Jong their top priority for the transfer window and would allow Marcus Rashford and Alex Telles to leave to be included in the deal. Nicholas, first thing, is it bullshit? Second thing, would you take it?
I think it's 100% bullshit, especially when you're talking about Rashford and Telles. Like, what you think about, even though he's had a poor season this season, Marcus Rashford, what you're talking about is transfer value. Like, he's still worth quite a bit, and you can get a significant amount of money for him. Then Alex Telles as well for de Jong, who's he's done okay for Barca. He's done decent, but he's not been amazing for him. He has had like spells at the club where he's had quite a dip in form and had a consistent dip in form, and then under Xavi he seems to kind of be regained it back a little bit. But yeah, what I wanted to do is I've got some stats to compare with McTominay, so if you just bear with me 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'll ask a bit. While you get them up, I'll just...
No, I've got him here.
Oh, have you got him
here? Yeah. So if you look at just passing, so straight up passing between McTominay and Frankie de Jong, in all these percentages, so accurate passes per game in his own half, opposition half, long balls, it's all 81% to sort of 93. That's where it's ranging from. If you look at McTominay's, his long balls are like 64%, chip passes 62%. And then the others are kind of like low 80s. So de Jong in that aspect is far superior than him in the passing department. You go to the defending side and he's very similar in that aspect. It's only McTominay really who's got more tackles per game. And then de Jong outdoes him in all them as well. So is he better than what we've got? Yeah, absolutely. But his price tag's worrying for me. It's being quoted like, 60, 70 million pounds or something like that, is it? Like,
I think it was 80 million euros. I think that's what they wanted from him.
And the thing that I would question, if this is legit and it comes out for, for sort of big journalist tweets it and stuff, if it is legit, why would Barcelona sell Frenkie de Jong when he's only 24 years old, about to head into his prime as a player? Why would they sell him? So unless there's some kind of like financial issues or something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, I would be actually worried about him coming. If you can get him for a discount price, like 30, 40 million, then I might, it might sway me a little bit more. But he's basically, to summarize, he's definitely better than what we've got. All his stats when it comes to passing is pretty much above 90%. So in terms of ball retention within the team, which we struggle with a lot, and conducting the game, he'd be really good, especially over McTominay. But for me, it's price tag. I wouldn't want to spend that, especially with the amount of players we've got to buy in the summer. I wouldn't want to spend £70 million on De Jong.
Yeah, no. There's a couple of things that as well. He got, I think he got hauled off as a substitute, didn't he, at the weekend, and he wasn't happy.
Yeah, so this is where the rumors started circulating.
I think that's the origin of the story.
Exactly.
He's an unhappy player, so he must be thinking, and what the journalists do, you want to make some clicks, put Man United in there.
Yeah,
that'll make sense.
So there's sorry, go on.
I was going to go to you anyway, Civir. Yeah, what your sort of thoughts on it?
Well, it's bullshit, 100%. And no, I wouldn't want him at United. I mean, if Ten Hag has some kind of plan, then yes, but then ideally, no, because he's a luxury player. Do you understand? It will be another Pogba, just in performance, not like drama-wise. But he's one of them kind of luxury players that just needs, like, if he's the last piece of the puzzle, then yes, I would understand.
He's the icing on the cake, isn't it? He's the icing, it's not the ingredients. He's the icing.
So if we get all all the components and then we just add him on to connect all the dots, then I would get it. But then now, when we haven't, that's the last thing we need now, a lightweight midfielder. I don't think he has the physicality to perform. I mean, if Donny couldn't get in the squad, if Donny couldn't perform physically, Nick, what's going on?
I had a fly right in the face.
I could see it, yeah.
So I had to give it a backhand there.
Yeah, no. So if Donny struggles physically, I can imagine what what's his name, De Jong would. It's bullshit. Like we said, it happens that he's coming off the pitch and he's substituted. He looks unhappy, and then all of a sudden, there's lots of people screenshotting that and then making up some silly rumors. I don't think there's any truth to it. And with Rashford as well, he's not going anywhere. We're stuck with him.
Well, do you have a power cut?
Yeah.
Can I just pick up on one of the points that Civir mentioned about? Yeah. I liked what he said about he's a luxury player, and he'd be a player that you bring in once you've got all your signs kind of embedded and the team's working well as a unit and stuff. And you've seen that with Thiago when he came to Liverpool, didn't you?
Exactly.
As soon as he came in that midfield, that was like the extra bit of sauce they needed in that, especially now they're playing a bit more possession based. So yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, Shreyas, I don't know if you've really had anything, but I know his brother is his agent, or is his dad? His brother or his dad is one of the two.
Yeah.
So his fan member is the agent anyway.
Yeah.
But he's basically sort of every opportunity they've asked him, he's basically gone, no, he's not going to United. He don't want to go to United. Don't want to go to England, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. For you, Shreyas, all the signs pointing towards this just a journalist trying to get some clicks and some eyes on the article.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, at the moment, any player who has actually played for Ajax at any moment in their careers would be linked to us, the way things are actually coming out right now. Yes. So, I mean, Frenkie de Jong, he worked really well under Ten Hag, but at the moment, I wouldn't really take him because he isn't the answer to our midfield issues. Because right now we need that solid CDM who is able to actually retain the ball and make progressive passes. So at the moment, the kind of players that are available to us, like if you say, would you take a Tchouaméni or would you take a De Jong? Obviously, I'd go for a Tchouaméni instead of Frenkie de Jong, because I think that Tchouaméni would be able to complement the system of United better than a Frenkie de Jong. And if we do get de Jong, I think if it does happen, as ridiculous it may sound, it should only happen if Ten Hag really, really wants him and wants to invest in him. Because if he's able to back a player and vouch for him, I guess there would be something in him that he sees would fit in the Premier League as well. But other than that, I really don't think that we should be going for him, because he is going to cost us a lot. Even if we are doing like a swap deal, I don't think it's basically going to make sense for us. And if we make it a cash deal, then it's obviously going to cost us around 65 to 70 million easily, because he's still fairly young. He's very versatile as well, because he can play as he's played, I guess, a centre back as well for a while at Barcelona, as a CDM, as box to box as well. So I don't think a team like Barcelona, the kind of financial situation that they're already in, they would like to let go of a player like Frenkie de Jong on a bargain deal. So I don't think this deal would make sense. But if it does happen, I would rather take. It only makes sense for Ten Hag. Other than that, I don't think that he's going to be any different than what we've practically gone for the last few years.
I'll tell you what, Sam. If Barcelona will take Matic, Phil Jones, Matt, like 5 for 1, we'll do him a 5 for 1. Lingard as well.
Take all of them.
Give him 5 players with Young. I'll take that.
Yeah. It screams of a Joel Glazer signing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Big star, massive wages. We'll sell some shirts, get the fans excited on social media. It just screams a Glazer idea, doesn't it?
I'm tired of like the being linked to like big names, or like names of unhappy. Names of players that are not unhappy in their clubs. Like that's it. Whenever someone's unhappy at his club, he gets linked to Man United. I'm just sick of it, man.
Do you remember Wesley Sneijder for about 10 years? We just linked every single year. We linked to Wesley Sneijder. It's just like, oh, for God's sake, can we let this go, please? It's just tiring. Speaking of Glazer ideas, Antonio Rudiger. He seems to be joining on Real Madrid after turning down a Man United offer. Patrick Berger has said Antonio Rudiger is now close to joining Real Madrid, agreeing a 4-year deal verbally. Manchester United had made the best proposal with a 10 million net salary, but Antonio turned it down. It was always clear for him to not play for another club in England after Chelsea. Nick, again, any truth to this? And does it just scream of the wrong signing, highly paid guy who's coming in for the money, doesn't want to play for United?
I'm not sure about that. I think Real Madrid have got a really good deal there, to be honest, getting really going to free, especially next to, they've got a young centre-back in Militao as well. And they look like they're really in the rebuild now. Like they've got Vinicius, they've got Rodrigo, young wingers, they've got Mbappe who's coming in. They're kind of revamping the midfield. They've got Valverde, Camavinga, and they're in for Tchouameni as well, I believe. And then the centre-backs, the young centre-backs coming through. So they look like they're in a proper rebuild at the minute. And I think Rudiger, it looks like, I think Romano tweeted that he is going there and it's pretty much a done deal. So I think it's good business for Real Madrid. Very good player, done extremely well for Chelsea. His discipline record's a little bit worrying, especially when he was at Rome, where he had a lot of red cards throughout his career. And we know he's a bit of a passion merchant, but looks really comfortable in the back 5. And he was in the back 5 at Roma, but I'm not sure about him in the back 4. I haven't seen him often, a lot in there. So that would be my only kind of concern about it. But there's no doubt he's a top player. And am I surprised that he snubbed United for Real Madrid? Absolutely not, because I think any player with 1% of common sense in the head would take most clubs over United in a minute. If you just look from the outside looking in, the way the dressing room is, the reports that are coming out, what player is going to want to join there, really? So really, the route they have to take, rather than these kind of free agents or whatever, it's the young players, young hungry players, bring them in. So
it's funny how many free agents there are this summer, isn't there? There's like so many free agents this summer.
It's becoming like a more fashionable thing, because players know that they've got them on ropes, and then they can just ask for like ridiculous wages, and then you get big agent fees on top of that. So
there's like Mbappe, Pogba, Rudiger. Who's the other Chelsea player? Christensen? Is that the guy?
Azpilicueta as well.
Azpilicueta, like some big names on free.
La Liga are roping in a lot of them as well. Barcelona are taking loads of him. So
so it's very interesting. Civir, just sort of quick thoughts on Rudiger. Would you have took him if United signed him?
No.
No.
I mean, it's kind of like what Nick said. Like, you know, it's one of those ones where it's one of them, like, I don't know how David Luiz left us. You know, whenever one of these players like leaves, you know, Luiz left Arsenal and left Chelsea, went to Arsenal. It's crap.
Yeah.
We saw that with, what's the other Brazilian?
Willian.
Saw that with Willian, Lukaku, Matic, Mata. the list goes on. No. And even if it did, it wouldn't be a Ten Hag signing. I doubt that very much.
Yeah, definitely not.
So no, all of them names, they could, I wish him all the best of luck at Real Madrid. I'm glad he's leaving Chelsea. And yeah, that's that's my stance on that one. I really don't care if it's true or not. If it's actually true that we made a bid and he rejected it, then I'm happy to hear that, because I'll be pissed if we did. He's a good player, trust me. Like he's the type of player that Maguire needs next to him. Someone to, he's a real bollocker.
Slap him around the
head.
He's the type of player Maguire wishes he was.
He's a fit Erik Bailly, basically.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, and a less crazy, spontaneous.
Debatable.
Yeah.
I mean, his yellow card and red card record isn't fantastic.
Yeah, but then you would expect him to do like them like a leg over in the middle of the,
Yeah, I know.
You'd never see Rudiger do stuff, silly stuff that. So yeah. But yeah, that's my stance. I won't waste too much time on that.
Yeah, Shreyas, I won't ask you about Rudiger because I think Nick and Civir have covered it. But the other story is there was a massive thing on Twitter the other night. There was no real credible sources. There was a couple of guys who claimed to be plugged into and they know what's happening, but nobody like Romano or Patrick Berger or what's the German guy called? I can't remember his name.
Christian Falk.
That's him. Yeah, there's no one like that talking about it, but it was trending, #1 trend on Twitter, and there was a lot of people talking about it. But apparently, Paul Mitchell is all but signed to come to United and come in as I don't even know what his job would be, but I assume he'd be involved in the recruitment process or heading up that team or whatever it is. I know we've spoke about him a couple of times on this channel. We're all very massive fans of him. We think it should happen. Do you think there's any truth to it? And second, is that a must-do deal for United? Do we need someone like Paul Mitchell to come in?
Yeah, I really don't know if it's true or not, but him and Ralph have had a few meetings, I would say. So something might be going on, but I don't know if it's like in the stages where it is like really serious that he's about to come to United. I don't think that it's headed that way right now. But I think United does need that kind of guy in the recruitment side, because his recruitment has basically been spot on wherever he has been. Even this season at Monaco have been doing really, really well in the French league. And I think that having someone like him, it would help us to actually get players who would fit United better and not just sell the merchandise, because that's what we need at the moment. We've basically pushed Sir Alex. We've gone for like these big name signings every single season just to get merchandise. And we've practically signed players who might be on their decline as well at times. Like we mentioned, Cavani as well came and had a good season, but he's not really in his prime. And I would say he doesn't even have the physical capacity to play week in and week out, which clearly got exposed this season. So having someone like him, I think it would give a lot of direction to our recruitment side, because that we lack really. I think in those top 6 sides, we have the worst recruitment side, I would say. Even I think Leicester have a really good recruitment side as well, the way they are able to bring in players and they are able to develop them as well. Like Conte left, they got Ndidi. And even now, as United fans, we also want Ndidi to come because he's the perfect CDM signing for us. So I think if Paul Mitchell does come in, it would help us in recruiting these players who, we just have to polish. And they're pretty much the ready players that we need. But if he doesn't come in, I still believe that Rangnick, in that consultant role, he might have a thing or two up his sleeve, because we have got rid of the existing recruitment team that we already had. So someone has to definitely come in. The seat is open. So if it is Paul Mitchell, it's great. But even if it isn't, I would believe that Rangnick would be able to make the correct choice for it.
No, I agree. Nick, yeah, I know you're a massive fan of Paul Mitchell, and you talk about it quite a bit. Do you think it's close to getting done? I know he was seen at a youth game, sat next to Rangnick, clearly having a conversation. Do you reckon any truth to the rumours? Do you think he's coming in?
Can I just say, Monaco is an absolute scouting pit for players, isn't it? Like the place it's at the moment. Like if you look at players that have come through there, Rodriguez, Bernardo Silva, Mendes, Mbappe, you got Tchouaméni there now. Falcao, I think, was there one year. So like ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But just in regards to Paul Mitchell, look, he isn't the only sporting director out there. There will be other world-class ones there, like Shreya said, them with the one at Leicester's doing a really good job. There's a few in Italy that have been doing really, really good job for a long time, scouting young players. But he is one of the very best in the business. If you look at the recruitment job he's done at Spurs, Trippier's son, Alderweireld, Dele Alli, I think he found Sadio Mane when he was at Southampton as well.
Yeah.
Like, so he's done a really good recruitment job in England. Can find these rough diamonds all around Europe. And look at some of the players now, like I mentioned then, at Monaco, you got Tchouaméni, Boado, Diop, young French hungry talented players that he's had a bit of an assist in bringing them through. And then I think he had something to do with Nkunku as well at Leipzig. I'm pretty sure he did.
He did.
Yeah.
So, and that's someone who we're targeting as well, who apparently we didn't even have on our scouting list. And if you look at the way he's been playing this year, it's ridiculous. The guy is a phenomenal player. So if he can bring people like that, or even the next Nkunku or the next kind of Tchouaméni who's coming, do you know what I mean? Like, I just think it can only be good for the club, really. And we haven't, who's our sporting director at the minute? Can anyone tell me? Is it Fletcher? Is it Mertz? Like, who is it?
Fletcher's the technical
director,
but I don't know what that is.
So we don't have, my point is we don't have an official sporting director do it. And I think Ten Hag, he isn't one of them guys to be ringing up agents and doing all the kind of stuff. Like, a lot of people who surround him have said that he isn't that kind of guy. He wants to be on the pitch, working very closely with the players on tactics and everything. So bringing Paul Mitchell into that forward, you've got Rangnick, Paul Mitchell, and Ten Hag. I think that'd be a perfect combination for me.
Yeah, definitely in agreement. Last story that I sort of picked up, we'll go to you, Civir.
Can I just say something quickly?
Yeah, sure.
On the Ten Hag thing, because this is, sorry, not Ten Hag, Paul Mitchell. Because this is what Ragnick was talking about, literally. I mean, he said it in so many words without being direct, because he said, this is when, after we played Liverpool, and he was having those little rants, and he was saying that it's not about just making small changes and the players and everything. You have to change the structure. And this is exactly what he was referring to. You know, it's not just about, oh yeah, let's just go and buy this bunch of players. It's changing the way everything works, how the whole system works. And there's nobody that will be, like Nick said, you know, there's lots of people out there, but Paul Mitchell, with the experience he's had, not just in the Premier League, but, you know, in other leagues, he was at Dortmund at some point, wasn't he?
I'm not entirely sure. I know he's at Leipzig.
I think he did something in Germany.
Yeah, it was Leipzig.
Yeah,
he was at Leipzig, I guess, because I think he signed Timo Werner. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I guess, he was at Leipzig.
Just to, you know, this is the exact type of site. I mean, we can go on and on about how many Ajax players that Ten Hag brings in, but then, you know, if we don't have the structure set up properly for this guy, because he was very successful thanks to Mark Overmars. You know, remember he had Overmars at Ajax. That's the case. So he needs that kind of support.
And Van der Sar as well.
Exactly. So if that doesn't change, then we'll be here again next year talking about why we have, you know, I don't know, Frankie de Jong in our team, or some miscellaneous players that we don't need.
Yeah, over the hill players out of contract, like 34, 35 years old.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to add that.
No, of course. No, feel free. The only other story that I wanted to sort of bring up was is in the Times. Man United players apparently have lost faith in Ralph Rangnick already, which that's one issue for another time. But also with Ten Hag coming in, they appear to think he's not strong enough to lift the club. I've read like pretty much the full article, and it's like there's stuff in there like the squad is devoid of belief and confidence. Yeah, no shit. And they were saying about Rangnick losing his fourth game, and they think, the dressing room's divided on if they could miss out on European football altogether. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, the Paul Scholes, Jesse Lingard thing came out as well on BT Sports. But Civir, just like the thoughts on my personal opinion, I hate this team. Honest to God, I hate this team so much. They're just blaming everybody except themselves at this point. They think Rangnick's lost faith in Rangnick. They think Ten Hag's not good enough to bring the honest to God, I'm just getting to the point now. It's just like, can we get rid of about 2/3 of these players? Because I'm done with it. I don't know what your feelings are on it, but yeah.
Man, listen, I'm absolutely sick to death of hearing things like this, right? What benefit does this do for us? Whether or not it's true, I don't care. I'm sick to death of all the. This is what adds to the toxicity that's happening in our team right now. Whenever stories like this come out, now I'm not questioning the validity. What was that? The validity of the story. But I just, what's the point? Why do we? It's just another recycled story. It's the same thing. We keep hearing, oh, the players don't like this, the players don't like that. Well, and then what does that do? That feeds into the fan base, who rightly should be pissed off. But then at the end of the day, it doesn't do anything. This is why players are crumbling under pressure. Nobody wants to make a mistake. Nobody wants to take any risk on the pitch because they don't want to be the next Harry Maguire. And this is what we're seeing. Bruno misses a penalty. Like, the confidence is drained out because the fan base feeds into these kind of stories. And I'm sick to death. I'm tired of hearing this shit. I'm really, really sick of it. And I just wish we could just learn to just, I mean, how lower can we sink? We're at a really, really low. We're so low right now. Like, how lower can we sink? Why do we need to keep feeding into this stuff and getting pissed off and then attacking the players? There is nobody, like, even if when Jurgen Klopp was joining Liverpool, I can bet you one or two players didn't like that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
When Pep was joining City, one or two players didn't like that. It's easy for one person not to like something, and then somebody says, "Oh, there are certain players who don't like," and then we just allow these journalists just add more toxic waste into whatever's already happening now.
That's the thing. Klopp and Pep came into these teams, and I bet there's certain players that like him, and I bet they
exactly.
Well, they're
it's
fucking
normal.
gone. They're gone then. See you later. Bye. Out the fucking door.
It's normal not to like it. Not everyone's gonna like a manager. It's normal. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You understand? But then we just allow these people to make such a big deal of it. I wish we had a way to just ignore these people and just let. I mean, they're human. The players. I'm not making excuses for them, but I'm just saying, the more we feed into this stuff, the more we get all riled up. The more we just, it's more abuse, and there is no player who would function properly in the circumstances that's happening right now. There's no player, there's nobody who, I know we can sit here and say, oh, you guys need to pick, they need to pick themselves up and all that. No athlete can function properly in these kind of conditions. And we keep feeding these conditions when we believe these stories and then take our frustrations onto social media, and then it gets back to the players. And then it's a vicious cycle. So I can't wait for this season to end. Can't wait for people that, I love Pogba and Martial. I just want them to go so that the press has nothing else. They can't blame anyone else.
They'll find something.
I know they'll find something.
It's United. They want United to fail. It's always been the way. Like, everybody wants United to fail. This
is so I can go on about this for hours, but I'll leave it there. It pisses me off, really. I hate it.
No, I'm in total agreement with you, Nick. I remember, like, in Ollie, when Ollie first came in, and everybody was saying how likable these players are and how likable this team is, and we just seem to have done a complete 180 now, and nobody likes this team. Everybody is hating every single one of these players.
Yeah. I find it funny how a lot of people are blaming Rangnick. Like, you see the fans going in on Rangnick, and even some people saying, like, oh, well, Ollie was right when
the pundits are like having a go at Rangnick. Like, there's pundits going, oh, Rangnick needs to do better. It's like, these players have thrown 4 managers under the bus. Like, what are you talking about?
My point is, I feel like even if you would have brought Ten Hag in as, like, for the next 6 months from where we brought him in, the same thing would have happened under him.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it would have. I feel like if you give Rangnick a pre-season to get rid of some players and, like, do the damage that needs doing, basically, to get rid of the people and bring in new, young, hungry, fresh players, they will play to his philosophy much more so than some of the players aren't doing now. So that narrative for me that Rangnick's worse than Ollie or whatever, all this kind of shit, it's just absolute bullshit. Like, these players are down tools under numerous managers. It was on the players, and I'm just glad Ten Hag's coming in, and he's very ruthless. Like, from people who've worked under him, he will just get rid of people like that. So yeah, this set of players in general for me, guys, is the most embarrassing set of players that's ever played for Manchester United. It really is. Like, the attitude, the mentality, everything. Like, it's just, they are the worst. So yeah, no more needs to be said on it, really, does it? Like, they just need to go.
Yeah, Shreyas, any thoughts on it, mate? Like, just before we sort of move on to.
I mean, it just goes on to say that these players aren't ready to take the responsibility themselves. They're just looking to actually shift it somewhere else. But I would just say that I think that as fans as well, we are able to see what is practically going on, because on the page they all look disconnected. Doesn't really look like they're on the same page either. And I think definitely we need to get rid of these toxic players, because like Civir mentioned as well, that obviously there is going to be a particular portion of that locker room which that isn't going to like the new manager who's about to come in. But I mean, still you have to be able to adapt under the circumstances. In football, things are going to change, and if you are at a club like Manchester United, you have to be ready to be open to it. Whoever is going to be coming in, you have to be adaptable and you have to be versatile enough in order to play well for that manager, and in turn be able to help the team as well, which hasn't really been the case for us. And glad that Ragnick was given this interim job. So because even we know as well basically who are the problems on that pitch, because we can see players not really putting in the efforts as well. So get rid of these guys, get some players who are actually willing to play for the badge, involve the players from the youth setup as well. We've got some crazy talent out there with Hannibal. We've got Elanga coming through as well, and Garnacho.
Ahmad.
So it's going to be exciting, but I just hope that they're given the good system to actually come in and develop themselves into the team, because for a young player to come in, they need that environment to grow in, because if we throw them into this toxic environment as well, even they are going to be a part of this divide where the locker room isn't really on the same page.
Sure. No, I have total agreement with all three of you. I just wish, season would end and we could just start fresh and just get rid of half of these players and just let's move on with it. But speaking of new players, let's get on with the reason why we all came here. Let's talk about positive stuff.
Everybody get the scouting tactics out and all that kind of shit. Get your clipboards out.
Let's all pretend we've been watching Ajax the entire season. So obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, Erik Ten Hag is coming in. Ajax manager, nobody knows who he is. It's fine, don't worry about it. He's coming in at the end of the season. Is he coming in at the end of the season, or is he coming in
June? He'll start.
June. Is that when he starts? Right.
Yeah.
So he's coming in June, and I think we have at least. Then we've got 7 or 8 players out of contract who are leaving anyway for sure, and then we've got a possible maybe 4 or 5 others who could be sold on top of that. So it's going to be a mass clear out. So I had the idea in my head that obviously we're not going to take 4 or 5 Ajax players because they're not going to allow that to happen. It's just not feasible that it's going to happen. But I figured he might take one with him just to get one player in the dressing room that he's worked with before, that knows how he plays, knows his tactics, and get him in the dressing room. And I think that's probably going to happen. So what I've asked the lads to do is to pick one Ajax player that they think would make a difference at Man United, would fit in with the team, would do well, and would sort of be able to replace one of the players that are either leaving or aren't good enough, and basically help the team along with other transfers and youth players that are going to come in. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I don't mind.
Yeah. Nick, just before you go into it, who is it that you want to bring?
So I've gone with a bit of a niche choice, not someone who everybody talks about or the obvious one, and it's Lisandro Martinez.
Lisandro, it is very. I bet. Yeah, when most people think Ajax, they don't sort of that's not the name that comes to mind most of the time, is it? So, but why would
the fourth name that people mention?
Yeah. Why do you think Martinez would be good for United?
Well, Lisandro Martinez, 24 years old, 5'10", a left-footed, versatile Argentinian centre-back who can play centre defensive midfield and left-back as well, similar to Daley Blind in that aspect. One of Ajax's top performers this season, has done really well in the heart of that defence, and another bright talent that's come off their conveyor belt. His strengths are his consistency, putting in 7 out of 10s every single game. His ground duels, tackling ability, and ball control, something that our defenders lack. Well, most of them, bar Varane. Both Barcelona and Real Madrid have poked genuine interest in this player, and there's a reason for that. So, firstly, we'll look at his defensive duels per 90 and defensive successful defensive actions per 90. Martinez is above average in both of these metrics amongst Eredivisie central defenders. He records 6.6 defensive duels per 90 and 10.5 successful defensive actions per 90, which is pretty impressive. It's also important to mention that 9 times out of 10, Ajax have a lot of the possession. So these stats would be less impressive if he was coming from a team that defends all the time. So it's even more impressive that he plays, you know, in the Ajax team. He's got a lot more. Another defensive aspect of Martinez's game, I want to mention his aerial ability. Although he isn't the biggest, he's strong in the air, competing in 6 aerial duels per 90 and a success rate of 67%. He is, again, well above average in these metrics and one of the league's best in the air, and he's only 5'10", as I mentioned before. So that's, yeah, impressive again. And if you head into the Premier League, physicality is obviously a welcome attribute to have. Now, analysing a defender from all sides is key. You need to do it because, especially in this one game now, you don't just want the defensive side of things. You want to know about his ball playing ability, right? So if you look at his stats, like passes into the final third per 90 and progressive passes per 90, Martinez is the second best in the Eredivisie, only behind teammate Daley Blind, who has some incredible numbers himself. And this shows that Martinez excels. I keep getting Martinez. I don't know why it keeps tongue twisting. This shows Martinez excels on the ball, especially amongst Eredivisie's top defensive players. He's well above average in pass accuracy and accurate forward passes, which in a Ten Hag system or a Pep system or the way Xavi plays, you know, building up from the back is the kind of qualities that you need. He makes defending look simple and effortless, often using his intelligence to read the play and position himself correctly. I've watched actually quite a lot of clips on him, like in I think it's the World Cup qualifiers against Luis Diaz. He does a great job on him, and you know how much he's flying for Liverpool at the moment. Like there's loads of examples. If you just go watch him, he's a very astute, very measured. Like one of Maguire's massive issues is not being able to scan the pitch. He's one of the worst at it, and he makes a lot of errors. And Martinez is like world class at that. So that's another reason why we should take a closer look at him. But yeah, to conclude, Martinez is one of the best centre-backs in Eredivisie, followed closely by his partner Timber. His versatility and defensive contribution makes him able to adapt and make effective defensive contributions in different situations and areas. This, partnered with his excellent on-ball quality and the way he contributes to build-up play, is what makes him stand out from the rest. Price-wise, he isn't going to cost you too much either. Ajax only paid around £6 million for him, something like that. And they'd probably, you know, be looking for around 30, 40 if they was to sell, I imagine. But yeah, and he's not going to be on ridiculous wages either. So we're not going to, if you think what I was saying before with, you know, when we're heading into the summer, we've got all these transfer targets that we're going to buy. You ain't going to spend 70 or 80 million pounds on a centre-back either. Like, it's just like we said, it's not feasible. So going in for someone like this, you may, you know, there's potential to get him for 30, 40 million. That eggs me on more, should I say, to go get him. And you can recoup probably 10, 15 million pounds by selling Erik Bailly and getting his wages off the bill. So in total, you're going to spend 20, 25 million.
Phil Jones as well. Get rid of Phil Jones.
So it's a no-brainer for me. Left-footed centre-back who we was looking at initially last year, alongside Rafael Varane. I think he'd complement Varane in the partnership. So yeah, I'd go for Martinez. I think it's a bit out there, and people wouldn't be people's first choice. But I really like him as a player. I think he reads the game really well.
I think he was linked. Wasn't he linked to Bayern Munich at some point?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Bayern Munich, Madrid, Barcelona, like.
For you lads sort of like jumping on it and stuff, I just wanted to. How old is he?
24.
24. So it's a good age profile. And like you said, he might not pop into people's heads, but that's exactly the type of player United need to be going after. We need to go after players who everybody else is not chasing. We don't need to be going after Haaland and all that sort of stuff, because it just doesn't make sense, because it's not what we're trying to build right now. So I think that's the right kind of profile of player. Decent price, good age profile. Not everybody's looking at him, stuff like that. Is there any weaknesses that you sort of look at that you think they might not be sort of something that be good for United?
He's not extremely pacey, but I think he's quicker than Maguire, I can tell you that for sure. 100% quicker than Maguire.
I mean, a snail's quicker than Maguire.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's not Maguire, put it that way. But he'd have Rafa Varane next to him anyway. That's why I think they complement, because he's more up there than he is sort of physicality. Like, everyone looks at him and thinks 5'10", but even his stats, as I said before, his aerial duels, everything like that, is one of the best in the league. So he's more reading of the game, and I think that's why he'd work so well next to Varane. So I'd say his pace it's not a concern, but he's just not the quickest. He's not an Erik Bailly, or he's not a Varane, but he's not exactly slow either.
But if your reading of the game is so good, you're going to put yourself in the right position anyway, aren't you? Because you don't need the pace.
Look at what Thiago Silva's doing at Chelsea. The guy, he's not quick at all. He's like 37 years old, but he's so mature in his defending. That's what makes him stand out. Like,
you have what's his name? Mascherano.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I think pace is really. I think a lot of FIFA
in a defender, you don't. It's not a massive.
It's not a mega. It's nice to have an attribute to have recovery pace and stuff. But there's a lot of centre backs that have been successful that aren't. Like, look at Carlos Puyol. Puyol was slow as fuck, but he was such a good defender that that people forget about that.
So. Vidic wasn't rapid by any means necessary. Like,
some of the best centre backs ever.
One of the best defenders of all time. But lads, you got any sort of comments, questions on Martinez?
I mean, I think when you look at Ajax team, I think he's one of their unsung heroes because he's very solid at the back. He's versatile enough as well because he's able to play in multiple positions at the back. And he might not be pacey, but he has good positional sense, because of which I would say that he fits. If he does come to United, he fit perfectly because right now, except Varane, Maguire doesn't have that positional sense. He doesn't have the pace either. And Lindelof right now isn't, when Maguire's there, he isn't really the first choice centre back for us. For us, the first choice centre backs are Maguire and Varane. So if you compare him to Maguire, I would say he's much better positionally. I think even if it comes to aerial duels, he's physical enough and agile enough in order to win those balls. And his passing is pretty well as well. Like Nick mentioned, that he's able to be in that position and be able to link up with the midfield, and then they're able to progress and create those overloads, which Ajax is pretty much known for at the moment. So I think he's a really good player, and at this point of time, we could really get him at a really good deal, because if the club is ready to shell out 70 million for Frenkie de Jong, why not use? I mean, you could practically get him for even 25 million for Lisandro Martinez. I think it's a steal for the kind of player he is, because many clubs are coming in for him, like Barca is coming in, Madrid is coming in, Bayern Munich is coming in as well. So he goes there for a bargain deal, he comes here for a bargain deal. It's one and the same thing, but whoever is going to get him, he's going to do them a lot of favors. And I think he's the kind of signing that United have practically missed out on plenty of occasions. Players like him, not going to cost much, will develop into one of the best, could develop into one of the best centre backs as well. Has a lot of potential. He's playing for the national team as well, one of the starters for that national team as well. Has a good partnership with Romero in the Argentinian side. So there's a lot of talent. He's worked under Ten Hag as well. So at least keep him in contention if you're going to keep Frenkie de Jong in contention as well.
Can I, very, very quick, for to throw one last point as well. I think the fact that he's versatile and he can play as a DM and he can play wing back is going to be important because, as we know, like it keeps going back to the summer, we ain't going to buy someone for every single position. Yeah. So there's going to be a point where we need someone else to play somewhere, or there isn't going to be enough players to cover it. So I think versatility is going to be key. That's one of the reasons why I really want to sign Nkunku, because then Nkunku can play about 4 or 5 different positions.
Exactly.
So I think that should be a theme when you go in for players in the summer.
Also, centre back it's not been mentioned much at all. When they talk about, when United officials have come out, or people who connect to United, they've talked about midfielder, striker, right winger. They've not mentioned a centre back, which is baffling to me because our centre back is an issue. Harry Maguire is an issue. Raphael Varane injury record is an issue. Then Lindelof, he's all right, but he's not.
As a second option, he's okay, but he's he's definitely not a first team.
And then Phil Jones probably going, and Erik Bailly probably going. So it's there is an area of need. It is an area of need that you definitely need to fix. So I think Nick's spot on the money with it.
Yeah, Nick, you mentioned Nkunku, and he's probably one of my dream players. But another one, Another one I really want us to get is Conrad Lima.
Oh, I said Lima as well.
Yeah. No, because he can play right back and center midfielder, and he can also be a CDM as well.
Yeah.
Because he's so intelligent. Like, he has the ability to attack, and he's everything. He's complete. So you can play 3 positions if you get someone like that as well. I just started mentioning it because you mentioned Nkunku.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Lima.
Those two, like if we could get them, I'd be mate.
Yeah.
Pants off all over the place.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's a very good argument to have that, Nick. Like, I didn't again, centre back. Again, I think it's going to be a neglected position this summer. I don't think they're going to buy one, in my personal opinion.
I think they will. I think they're definitely going to. They're going to have to. Yeah, I think 100% it's not.
I think we're going to get 4 players at most. I think 2 of them are going to be midfielders, and then one's going to be a winger, one's going to be a striker. I don't think we're buying any defenders. We should, but I don't think we will, which is frustrating beyond means. But there you go. Let's go to Civir. Your choice. I believe everybody knows about this guy, but there's probably a reason why, because, well, you'll get into it why. But yeah, who have you chosen?
I chose to go with Anthony Santos, the right winger.
Absolute ball in it right now.
Absolutely. Now, I know we spent 75 million on the right winger like 12 months ago.
But he's now a left winger.
Yeah.
Who's now left winger?
We thought we bought a right winger. Now he's on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I mean, when you have someone there now, I mean, there's no excuse. We've really been lacking on that right wing for ages. But because we've lost Martial, we've lost Rashford, even though he's still there, but we've lost it. Or he's lost himself.
He might as well not be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Sancho's had to complement on the left. Now, if we have both of them, but anyway, I'll go into Anthony now.
Yeah, sure.
Now, I'll quickly go over the stats because that's not the reason why I chose him. I know stats are really good, but they can also be misleading. Now, he's had 33 goals this season. Sorry, 33 appearances.
Wow.
33 goals? Jesus Christ.
Sign him now.
He's outscoring Ronaldo. What's going on?
33 appearances, 12 goals, 10 assists. Or is it 10 goals and 12 assists? I don't know. But it's one or the other. Double digits, which is great. So that means 22 goal contributions in 33 games, basically, which is really, really good. But I think for me, being an expert on Ajax, I'm just joking. But like,
I mean, you're the only one. But out of us 3, you're the only one with a shirt. So.
But after watching, so we all watched him this season in the Champions League, and what I really like about this guy is his work rate. Number one, as a Brazilian, like, he has an incredible work rate. He doesn't give up. This is someone who I've seen, like, he tackles, he presses.
He's a bit of a shithouse, isn't he? Like,
he's a bit of a shithouse, yeah. Then he doesn't just dribble just for the sake of dribbling. Like, so everything he does is productive. His decision making is absolutely spot on. Like, we've lacked that in that.
Do we need that?
Honestly, like, his decision, and then he's such a team player. Because when you have flair players like that, they're all about themselves. They want to dribble and then take the shot. They want to dribble and then look good. He's a team player. He's always trying to. He reminds me of Nkunku, where he's always trying to. He'd think about passing the ball first before trying to take a shot.
Yeah.
He's one of them players. And I think that if we have someone like that on that side, and you have Jadon Sancho on the other, it will be devastating, because defenders won't, they'll be, who the fuck are we going to mark? Like, it will be absolutely devastating. And the fact that he's played under Erik Ten Hag, a manager who knows him for 2 seasons now, I think he'll be best placed to be able to introduce him into our squad, the way that we want to play. I think it would be absolutely brilliant. If we have, because what happens is we only attack from one side or the other side. If we have both sides attacking, I mean, it would be absolutely great. The chances that he's created. He is always one of these people that makes the pass to the pass. He assists the assist.
Yeah.
That's where you find players like Anthony. I'm so blown away. I really wish we have. And obviously we need a bit of arrogance as well. We need Yeah, we've been so low.
We need confidence.
Yeah,
confident player.
He's one of those players. He plays with a swagger, plays with a bit of arrogance. He's not really he's not one of them shithouse players. He's exactly what we need. And the way he fits into the Ajax team is just, he doesn't it's not like how you have Neymar who makes it all about him. It's really not about that. And he's only 20.
Yeah.
He's only 20. This is his 5th professional season because he played 3 seasons at.
Ridiculous.
He played 3 seasons at or 2.5 seasons at was it Santos, wherever he was in Brazil, before he came to Ajax. So he's 20 years old. Come on, we need that. We need that. And if it doesn't work out, then we can sell him for a big amount of money. Do you understand? So when last did we make money off anyone? Anyway,
we'd let Anthony go on a free. That's what we do. We'd buy him for 70 million and let him go on a free.
Yeah. But that's my pick. That's
nice. For Nick and Shreyas getting, Anthony. I think if we do sign an Ajax player, Anthony's probably going to be the one who we get. Exciting, dynamic, like you said, bit of an attitude, bit of an arrogance, which is we're sadly lacking in this team. There's nobody except Ronaldo. There isn't anybody in our team who has that kind of
team player.
And a team player, worked under Ten Hag, 20 years old. That's 20. Perfect. Absolutely ticks every single box. I just wanted to ask, did you see any weaknesses in his game? Anything that you think might be a little worried about him coming to United?
Yeah, I mean, he's young, so obviously you expect you would see sometimes the immaturity shows, sometimes a bit too eager. Got a red card the other day. Is one of those things he's still learning, I think, and then also, this is just a speculation, but then coming from the every I can't pronounce that. The Dutch league, Eredivisie, coming from that. But that's where I am.
No, I'm a fan. I like it.
Sorry, I lost my sound for about 2 minutes.
I was thinking, Sam. I was looking at you, Sam, and you was just staring into a bit.
I was trying to fix the sound as I was going on.
I was is he going to say something? Or
sorry, apologies. Nick Shreyas, any sort of comments on Anthony?
Yeah. Go on, Shreyas.
You're going.
Okay. Too nice. We're both too nice, right? So one of the things I wanted to say is I think price-wise is going to be a bit pricier. I think 60 to 70 million, the same amount that we pay for Sancho, I think is what you'd be looking at. I don't know if United are going to spend that much. If Ten Hag's absolutely instant on it and it's like, I need a player like this on that right-hand side, then they might go get him. I just think that he will be pricey. And the second thing was, I was having a debate with, I don't know if you guys have watched him on United Stand before, 11-2K. I was having a debate with him on Twitter about this, and he was saying if he was to get Sancho and Antony, there wouldn't be enough balance in that. And I was like, well, how did you figure that? And he said, because there isn't enough explosiveness or any of this kind of stuff. And I said, well, when we played City, they still played with Mahrez and Grealish, and they had Foden up top, and they absolutely dominated us. He said, Antony is still quick. He's clock speeds of 35 kilometers an hour or something ridiculous like that. So he's as quick, if not quicker, than these type of players like Mahrez who were killing it in the Premier League. So the argument didn't make sense to me. It was like, trust me, there's not going to be enough balance and all this kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. So, I wanted to ask you about that, Civir, in particular. He is pacey in here. He's got bursts of pace to beat a man. Similar to how Mahrez does it as well. His dribbling, his agility is very good. So, that didn't really make sense to me, that argument. But
It doesn't, because if you look at Ajax, they've got Dusan Tadic on the left. So, that's not like an explosive player, but it's very, very effective. You understand? And then both players have the ability to play wide and play narrow as well. Do you understand? So I think there's a lot of unpredictability there. I want to say, I can't understand where he's coming
That's
from.
where the wing backs would come into it, innit?
Yeah.
Like if you've got these players drifting, maybe the wing backs will have to have that like Kyle Walker recovery pace or whatever. But in terms of the systematically how you're setting up, if they're drifting in, then yeah,
it's perfect because one's cutting it on his right, the other one's cutting it on his left. They're both really, really good on the ball, both really good at spotting passes, creating chances. I don't see any weakness there. I didn't see your argument with him, so I can't really say I understand where he's coming from because it doesn't really make any sense.
I think he was just basically saying because it's Premier League and it's different to the Eredivisie. And I said I get that the physicality, but City are absolutely murdering it at the minute, and they play with not in particular like really quick players like Liverpool do. So it's just all about different sets of style and how you're setting up. Like I think it could work. Definitely.
I don't see it. Yeah, I don't understand how But yeah, like I said, because Ajax play with Dusan Tadic on the left-hand side, that's where he comes in from, and that's not really an explosive player. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I see it working personally.
Shreyas, anything on Anthony?
Yeah, I think right now the kind of situation that we have at our hands with our attacking side, I think he is one of them players which we definitely need to go for. If we are interested in him, we need to get it done in the next few weeks because loads of clubs are going to be coming in for him. It's certain. And I mean, I still don't understand why that debate would occur about him not being explosive enough, because if you see a front line with Sancho and you've got Anthony on the other side and you've got Cristiano Ronaldo in the middle, the kind of chances that we would be creating if we get these guys enough of the ball, I think it would be great to have a player like Anthony. I mean, having two players who don't really think about scoring every single time they're around the box, having those players who are ready to make that one extra pass, create those spaces, drift in and drift out as well, having good work rate as well. So I think he could be one of those perfect signings for a winger that we need at the moment. And I think when it comes to adaptability, it comes down more to the age of the player, and he's really, really young right now. So I don't really see why he cannot adapt to the Premier League, because Sancho has adapted to the Premier League as well, and he's flying for us. So why not give that chance to Anthony as well?
Yeah, you've also like if we are bringing in a young striker, the partnership that could develop between Sancho, Anthony, and then this young striker, whether that's like Darwin Núñez or Jonathan David or something like that, like there could be a very dangerous front line there formed, and they're all really, really young. Like none of them are above 25.
Yeah.
Like so, it's exciting if we can pull that off, but we'll see what happens in the summer. So, last but not least, Shreyas, I'm gonna let you pronounce it, and I'm gonna get corrected, aren't I? Because I've heard it pronounced two ways.
Sam, you've got to do this now. You've got to try. I want to try to pronounce this.
Right. Is it Berghaus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was Berghaus.
No, it's Berghaus. That's how the Dutch commentators pronounce it. They go Berghaus.
Berghaus. Okay.
Yeah.
Shreyas. Oh, go ahead.
So, I mean, this guy is the player who is currently competing with Anthony for that right winger spot. He has been pivotal for the Netherlands national team as well. He's been there for them at the Euros as well. And I think he's a really versatile player because he can play the right wing, he can play on the left wing, he can also play as that number 10, which Ten Hag wants in his system with a 4-2-3-1, and he can actually play as a centre forward as well. So he's really, really versatile when it comes to his playing spots, and he's an instinctive player. Like when you look at Anthony, he's the player who is really rapid and he trusts his gut, and he goes for that cross or he goes for that pass. With Berghaus, the thing is he plays on his instincts. If he is running forward and he sees a defender, the first thing that comes in his mind, whether he goes for a shot or whether he dribbles past and dribbles past the player and then goes for a pass, he's really, really good with his instincts, and he has a good success rate with that as well. Since he has signed for Ajax, since the 2016-2017 season, he is fourth in the list for the most chances and assists created in Europe, which I really didn't know, and it's quite really impressive because you've got the likes of De Bruyne and Leo Messi in that list as well. he's not that rapid like Antony is, but when the kind of system that Ten Hag plays, as a winger, you don't really need that space. It's just a key attribute that you have, because then you will be able to complement in the defensive work as well. But what he does is he's able, because the wingers are kind of drifted inwards in that Ten Hag system. He works really well in that. He's able to complement Tadic and Klaassen as well, who play in that number 10 position and left wing. And the reason why Al is able to get these many opportunities as a target man is because these players are around, and Berghaus is a big asset to them in that, because he's not rapid, but he's positionally sound. And when it comes to taking shots and even going for that extra pass, he has that footballing IQ. In order to go for that extra pass, whenever Ajax are able to create those overloads in the box and those spaces are created, these wingers are able to occupy that spaces, and then Aller is able to move forward and occupy that free area and go for a goal. And
don't we miss somebody who can make decisions and do stuff?
Yeah,
my God.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at that right wing side of Ajax, all of their players, they don't really second guess their decisions. They are bang on with their decisions, be it Antony, be it Berghaus. And if you have these kind of wingers at your club, you won't really have a matter where you are thinking that these players are not confident enough, because even if they are not really having a good game, they're still going to do the things they already do. Because what we see at United right now, when the players are not confident enough, they're pretty much clueless when they're out of the box, which we see with Marcus Rashford. He's second guessing every single thing he does, whether if he has to go for a cross or even if he has to take a shot. He takes a lot of time on the ball and then he gets taken out, which is why I think this guy could complement the system at United, because he might not really be pacey, but his work rate is really great. He definitely relies on that relationship with the wingbacks, which is the kind of case where I would say it could be a little iffy, because we don't really have that at United right now. And secondly, he's 30 years old, so I think his best years are behind him, but he's really talented, and I think he has that keen eye. When you could say that he is kind of like that player like Juan Mata for Ajax. He has that footballing IQ, he has that vision. It's just that his age is a bit more, but the way that he's able to complement Antony and Tadic whenever he's playing, even drifting in that number 10 role, there is never a drop off in his quality. You play him anyway, he's going to perform to the same standards. And I think that having that versatile player is a kind of player that we have been missing, because we've seen Pogba play as a number 6, we've seen Pogba play as a left winger, but you've never really seen that consistency from him in both those positions. It's always been that he's shining in one position, but when he drops back into midfield, there is a drop off. He might be doing well in the midfield, but when he goes into an advanced cam role, he struggles, which we saw this season as well.
Also, United like to play their players out of position all the time, which is
so
frustrating.
I mean, exactly. So having a player who can actually occupy almost all the spots in that attacking side, I think that's the kind of player we definitely need at the moment, because we struggle for depth and we struggle for quality as well. So why not go for players
and versatility as well?
Exactly. So why not go for the player who can practically occupy all those spots and give you the same quality performances which he does in a particular level as well?
Sure. Yeah, very comprehensive. I think you've answered any questions I was going to have, but lads, any sort of comments, questions on Berghaus?
Yeah, I think he's not doing too bad in the Eredivisie. I mean, I think he's got something like 7 goals and 8 assists in 20 odd games, something along the lines of that. His age is a bit like one of them, but he's 30, something like that. Yeah. It's not too old. It's just the recruitment strategy I see United going for in a minute. That's the only thing that kind of I'd pick at. It just depends how much you're going to pay for him, really. Though. If you get him on cheap, then why not? If you're saying he's got consistent, say, he's versatile, greater decision making, then that's all the attributes that United need, especially in the forward line. So
the attributes we don't have at the minute.
Any chance he can play DM like as a number 6? We'll take it. No. Yeah, is he not that versatile? But that seems to be like
let's not put
reoccurring-
Juan Mata on the right wing again. Like, Jesus Christ. Like,
That seems to be like a reoccurring theme in the Ten Hag team. Like, they all seem to know a lot of roles. A lot of them are versatile. A lot of them are consistent, and a lot of them are so used to them patterns of play. And I'd love to see that at United, because that's just something we are like the polar opposite of.
they're so well drilled. I think you could probably drop half of them in like goalkeeper position and they know exactly what's going to happen, where they're going to play, where the ball needs to go, all that sort of stuff, because they're so well drilled. Because one of his Ten Hag sort of things is he spends a lot of time on the training pitch, doesn't he? And just drills, and gets his team to know exactly where to play. And that,
well, that's
when you watch the game against Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League, that was a typical example of a team that has a system that is successful and they believe in, because he had all his big players on the bench.
Yeah.
When they played Lisbon. Yeah. And he literally in Lisbon. It wasn't like he was living in Amsterdam.
So Satness as well.
Yeah. So and then when they eventually made the subs, because they were leading. Yeah, and it did, the party doesn't stop. It just carried on as if nothing happened.
They have the same thing against Dortmund as well. So
honestly,
as a team performance, I think Anthony got 3 assists in that game as well. They've just absolutely tore them apart. Like,
and this isn't and they didn't even have to come. This isn't like the Dortmund home and away. This was Lisbon, where it was just cruise control. You don't even need to come out of second or third gear. You just manage the game, and then you get the ball. They just suck the life out of them, out of the Lisbon players. And they're so physically drilled. It's like you can tell that he learned a lot from Pep when he was at Bayern Munich.
Definitely.
You can tell that he learned a lot from him in terms of, because Man City aren't like the most physical, imposing players. But they're all
their repetition and their angles. Yeah. That's what that's what Arteta's trying to do at Arsenal now. Yeah, like that is so key to how they play.
It's the Bruce Lee philosophy, in it. It's like, don't fear the man who knows 10,000 kicks, fear the man who knows one kick 10,000 times. Like,
if
you know something over and over and over and over again, it doesn't matter who plays where, what team it is. You know exactly what's going to happen. You know exactly how you're going to play and how you're going to beat people. And it's just,
you can blindfold them. You can literally blindfold them, and they know exactly where every.
That's what United are missing. We've just got a team of. We've got a bunch of individuals all doing their own thing all over the pitch.
We can't string 5 passes together.
Like, nobody passes to each other. Like,
and it's
Bruno,
like basic football. First
year, Bruno's passing and Sissoko was phenomenal. Like, absolutely. And now we can't do a 10-yard pass.
It's more.
I don't understand it.
It's progressive passes. That's the thing that annoys me. Like, you can string 4 or 5 like in their own half.
If it's going sideways or backwards.
But then when as soon as they try to play that killer pass or like one that's breaking the lines, they can't do it. They find it impossible to do. And it's not a basic thing to do, but all teams around that area, the top 10, are very good at it. So
well, it's because they don't know where their forward is going to be. There's like, are they going to make the run? Are they going to hold back? Are they going to bend it? Like, I don't understand. They have no idea, and there's no chemistry because you don't know what the other players are going to do. So they're kind of like guessing what's going to happen.
You know what's funny? It's not like these guys don't know how to do this. It's a mental block. Remember what we did? I mean, come on. We saw what they did against Newcastle last season. Was it 2 seasons ago? How we cut them open. We've done it at Brighton. So it's a mental thing. It's a thing where it's everything that's happening. It's way too much for everyone involved. Whether or not it was caused by them, I'm just saying what it is right now. These players are having a mental block now. You can't be quality 3-4 months ago, and then all of a sudden you're just shit. Like something has happened, and this is what's happened. And anyway, but back to Shreyas on Berghaus. I didn't even know he was that old. It means he's a late bloomer.
Yeah,
it means he's a late bloomer because he literally just got in. When I saw him play for Netherlands, I was like, "Oh, is this a new guy?" Like,
I think he played for Watford, as well.
Did he?
I'm sure he played for Watford. Yeah,
he was on loan there.
Yeah, I had no idea. Well, he's almost Jesse Linger's age, so he's.
Let's not compare them to.
Yeah, let's not do that. All fantastic options. I think you've all brought to the table. Surprised nobody went for Timber, but I think everybody knows about
Obvious.
Timber at this point, don't they? Like, he's been talked about to death. I think he's like the current darling of the Ajax team at the minute, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think
Another versatile player, though.
Yeah, he's a
Play
great player.
CDM,
No question about it. Fantastic player. I think he might, and he's rumored going to Bayern Munich, isn't he? Like that's the
Yeah.
No, Gravenberch.
Gravenberch is going to.
Yeah, Gravenbach's going to Bayern. I don't know about Timber.
Yeah.
I think Timber's going to stay at Ajax for another season if I had to put money on it.
He
Might be
released a
Gravenberch,
statement, didn't he, yesterday?
Yeah.
Or he said something about
he's happy to stay. Yeah,
stay one more year, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
It might be
I mean,
Gravenberch then I was thinking of. That
Yeah.
might be the one.
If you look
think-
at their entire back line, all of those players are pretty versatile, and all of the top clubs are after them. I mean, I think they've got Mazraoui as their right back as
Mazraoui,
well,
yeah.
and he is being he's got I think going on a free. So many clubs are after him. I think Barcelona are really close to signing a deal with him as well. So
Yeah.
these
What happens
players,
to Ajax though, isn't it? Every
Yeah.
year, just best players just get torn apart.
Ajax players always seem to fit in like a bar. So that's why I'm surprised Donny van de Beek didn't go Barcelona.
I think it's
Like,
the
they
Cruyff
are
in it.
Exactly.
It's Cruyff.
It's the Cruyff
It's
thing.
Cruyff
Exactly.
connection. Like,
Yeah, it's a perfect kind of string for a player to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's the next
Yeah,
step forward.
to wrap up, Guy, I think we could talk about this for the next hour or so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
all great options. I think if they are going to sign an Ajax player, it's probably going to be Anthony. That's the player they're probably going to go for. If it was up to me personally, Nick made a very convincing argument because I think centre back is one of our severe issues that we have. Because obviously we're going to bring in a couple of midfielders. I don't think they're going to bring in De Jong. I don't think they're going to bring in what's the Ajax midfielder called?
Alvarez.
Alvarez.
I don't think they'll go for him. I think it's going to be someone like hopefully Tchouaméni or Ruben Neves, something along those lines. Hopefully it's not Declan Rice because that's just our entire budget gone.
We can't afford him.
Yeah, so I think they'll probably go with Anthony if they're going to get an Ajax player. But is it Lisandro? Is that his first name?
Sandro Martinez.
I think he's a very good option, and I think they should take a serious look at him, especially at the age he's at, his versatility, all the stuff that Nick mentioned. I think he's not that I don't like Berghaus. I think he's a very good player, and like Civir said, late bloomer, but 30, the age, it puts me off a little bit. I think we've been stung too many times by players of 29, 30, paying a lot of money. If you get him on the cheap, like Nick said, maybe that might be a good option. But
I mean, if you can like get him for like about 5 million or 10 million, just to add someone to squad depth, because we don't really have squad depth either now.
I don't think they'll let him go for that little though. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be let go for that little because I think he's a very important part of their team. And I don't think they're going to let Ten Hag take multiple players either from Ajax. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll probably get one at most, if that. But yeah, lads, thank you all for coming on the show. Appreciate it very much. Just as Civir has dropped off, I think he's actually lost the connection. Let me just, he's gone. Well, Civir made his exit, his dramatic exit, just left.
He's not happy about that, is he? He's not happy about the result.
He's just like, God damn it. He's gone. But thanks for coming on, lads. If you haven't subscribed to us already, subscribe down below. We appreciate it. Like the video, comment on it. We got a lot of good views on the Arsenal preview, so we appreciate it very much. Thank you to the three lads who submitted the clips to the Voice for Fans show that went out today. If you've not seen that, go watch go watch that because it's a very good show. A lot of detailed analysis and a lot of fan opinions, and we're going to do that again. So keep your eyes out for that. Am I forgetting anything, Nick?
Socials.
Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Facebook. Share all our comments. Share all our comments. What am I doing? Share.
You know what you mean. You know what you mean. Don't worry about it. He's not well. He's not well. He's not well about it. Just very one last thing as well. The schedule is out on our Instagram page. So if you're thinking what content's next, what's coming up, just go ahead and check that out.
Tomorrow we've got Chelsea preview coming out. Obviously Thursday, Chelsea match day. I think we've got Statman and Robin with a new look, I believe, on Friday. So that'll be there. Saturday, what have we got on Saturday? New show, and then the Brentford preview. And then the Brentford preview on the Sunday for the Brentford game on Monday.
Literally something every day.
there's some. If you don't like this show, there's other shows you'd love. But why wouldn't you like the show? But yeah, if we want to try and get our subscriber count out before the end of the season. I want to get it all the way up. So you guys can help us out with that. Yeah. Anything else I've missed? Are we good?
No, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the show.
I think it's been a good video. This, I like this one. Enjoyed it, even though I've been ill as fuck. But appreciate Civir as well. I think his battery died. I think he just texted me.
That's all right.
So yeah, thanks Civir for coming on the show. Appreciate it. But yeah, we'll see you all guys tomorrow.
Bye.
The Chelsea preview in a bit.